Good morning, everyone. I am K.N. Narsimurthy. I am presently working as an assistant professor in Government First Grade Women's College, Tumkur. I am going to present in video for the subject physics, and this video is for second semester BSc students of Tumkur University. The topic which I am presenting today is the transient current. In that transient current, I am discussing the CR circuit. Okay, so 3 units are over, 75% of the syllabus is over. I have presented all the videos which covers the 75% of the syllabus. So I have told you that entire syllabus has been divided into 4 equal parts. So 4 units, and each unit will carry an equal weightage. So each unit has 25% of weightage. I have covered 3 units. So 75% of your entire syllabus I have presented videos. Now this is the 46th video and this is the last unit. Okay. So in the first unit I have completely discussed about vectors and electrostatics. In the second unit I have discussed about the magnetostatics and electromagnetic induction. In the third unit, I discussed about the magnetic materials. This is the last unit, and this is the fourth unit where you will come across the transient current and the alternating current. Okay, right. So we'll discuss this unit today. Yeah. So very basically, we need to know what is transient current is. Transient current is an oscillatory current. It is an oscillatory current. Oscillatory in the sense it is keep on varying. Or it is a periodic current. It changes its amplitude periodically. With a regular interval of time, this current is changing its magnitude. It is oscillatory or a periodic current that flows in a circuit. For a short interval of time. For a short time, following an electromagnetic disturbance. So you need to have an electromagnetic disturbance following this oscillatory periodic current which flows in the circuit. Electromagnetic disturbance means it's an electric and magnetic field which is keep on varying. And that's what the electromagnetic disturbance is. I'll repeat this. This transient current is an oscillatory current or a periodic current that flows in a circuit for a short interval of time following an electromagnetic disturbance. Okay, right. Let us know something about this transient current. The current before reaching the steady state. Steady state means it's a constant. Steady state means the voltage or a current remains constant at this state. Before reaching the steady state, the current is oscillatory. Current is periodic. The current keep on varies with time, and that current is what the transient current. The current before reaching a steady state is what the transient current is. Steady state, as I told you, it is a state where the current or voltage becomes constant. Right. So we know the definition of transient current and what actually the transient current is. Now, after knowing this, we will go to the very important derivation. This is growth of charge in CR circuit. This is one of the important derivation you can expect for the exam. Okay, one of the important derivation you need to know in this chapter. Right, that is the growth of charge. We are looking for the charge which is growing in a CR circuit. Okay, CR circuit means it's a capacitor resistor circuit. We are looking for the charge, how the charge is growing in a CR circuit, in a capacitor resistor circuit. Okay, and we are going to derive an equation for the charge. We are giving an equation for charge, and from this equation we are going to learn how the charge actually rises. Okay, right. Let R and C be the resistance and capacitance which are connected in series with a battery of EMF E and a plug key K1. So all the elements are connected in series. All the elements in a sense, capacitor, resistor, battery and the plug key, all these circuit elements are connected in series. Okay, the capacitor, resistor, both are connected in series with a battery of EMF E and the plug key K1. Now when this key K1 is closed, what happens here? Battery is connected to the capacitor, charge will flows from battery to the capacitor, capacitor will get charged and charge will increase on the capacitor from 0 to maximum value. The battery is connected, plug key is closed, the capacitor will get charged. Charge will flow from battery to the capacitor and hence the capacitor will get charged from 0 to maximum value. Right, if I look at any instant of time t, the charge on the capacitor is Q. I am defining the charge on the capacitor as Q at any instant of time t. And I be the instantaneous current. If I look at the current which is flowing through the capacitor at any instant of time, it is I. At any instant of time t, charge is Q and the current is I. Okay, these are the things which I am defining. Now I am going for a derivation now. Okay, right. Now I will look for the EMF equation in CR circuit. The EMF equation in the CR circuit is, we have two circuit elements. One is resistor and the capacitor which is connected to the battery. Now what happens is the EMF which is supplied by the battery is partly used as an voltage drop across the resistor and partly used to charge the capacitor. Okay, first is charge the capacitor and the remaining charge is used as an voltage drop across the resistor. So we need to consider the potential across both the elements. One is the capacitor, another one is the resistor. So sum of these two potential will be equal to the EMF of the battery. So sum of the potential across resistor and the capacitor will be equal to the EMF of the battery which I am supplying. Okay, so if I have to write an EMF equation for the CR circuit, it will be VR, which is the potential across resistor, plus VC, which is the potential across the capacitor, is equal to the EMF of the battery. So VR plus VC is equal to E. Right, now EMF equation is done. Now what I'll do is I'll substitute for the voltage across resistor and voltage across the capacitor. The voltage across the resistor, I'll look for the Ohm's law. Ohm's law clearly tells you that the potential V is equal to I into R. It says that the potential difference between any circuit element is directly proportional to the current flowing through it. So V is proportional to the current and I can say V is equal to IR. This is purely from Ohm's law. So VR is equal to IR. So instead of VR, I am writing IR. So now what could be the equation for the voltage across the capacitor? So voltage across the capacitor I can write as Q by C. It is very well known that in my many previous videos I have told you that the voltage across the capacitor V is equal to Q divided by C, where Q is equal to VC. We have seen the equation Q is equal to VC, charge on the capacitor. If I do some cross multiplication, I'll get V is equal to Q by C. Okay, that's equals to E. So first I have written VR, which is I into R, plus second term is VC, which is Q by C. That is equal to the EMF of the battery E. Right. So after writing the EMF equation, let me substitute the equation for current I as dQ by dt. So current definition itself will tells you that the current is the rate of flow of charge. Current is the rate of flow of charge. Therefore, I can write the equation for current as I equals dq by dt. Right? I'll substitute I as dq by dt. So R into dq by dt. I am sending q by c to the right hand side. If I send the second term q by c to the right hand side, it becomes E minus q by c. So R into dq by dt is equal to E minus q by c. Now what I'll do is, left hand side I'll keep as it is, R into dq by dt. In the right hand side, I'll take LCM. So C is the LCM. So in the numerator, it is CE minus Q. CE minus Q. So it's CE minus Q divided by C. Now one thing here it is, we need to know what is C into E. So it is the capacitance multiplied by voltage, multiplied by the EMF of the battery. So capacitance into voltage will be the charge. So what charge it is? What actually this? C into, I am taking the EMF of the battery itself, not the potential across the capacitor. I am taking EMF of the battery. So EMF of the battery, that is the maximum potential that a capacitor can achieve. A capacitor which is connected to a battery can have a maximum voltage of V, which is equal to EMF of the battery. So this is the maximum voltage. So capacitance into maximum voltage will gives us a maximum charge. Students, you need to understand this. The capacitance multiplied by a maximum voltage will gives us the maximum charge. What is the maximum voltage across the capacitor? Maximum voltage across the capacitor could be the EMF of the battery. That is the maximum voltage the capacitor can get. Capacitor can get charged. Okay. So therefore, I can write this C into E as the maximum charge. So I am representing it by Q max. Q maximum, charge maximum. So in the next equation, I am cross multiplying this R to the right hand side denominator. Instead of C into E, I am writing Q max. That's the maximum charge, minus Q divided by CR. So I got a differential equation. So now the thing is to solve the differential equation and get an equation for charge. You know, students, how to solve a differential equation. It's a very simple variable separable type. Separate the variables and integrate it. You will get an equation for charge. Right, we'll do that. So I have separated the variables. Qm minus Q I have taken to the left hand side, left hand denominator. It comes to the left hand denominator, and dq is there in the numerator. C into R I will go to the right hand side denominator, and we have a dt. Alright, now I have clearly separated the variables. Okay, after separating the variables, C and R are not variables, I know. Okay, now why I am writing C and R to that side? We don't have a time term here. Time is a variable, charge is a variable. Okay, I have taken the charge one side, left hand side. I need to take the time term to the right hand side. We don't have time term in the equation. So we don't have time term. So what we have actually is C into R, capacitant into resistance. So we will treat this as a constant. We will take it as a constant because capacitance and the resistance will not vary with time. Those are the fixed values. Those are the two fixed circuit elements which is connected to the circuit, and those values will not change with time. Even the current flows in the circuit, even it takes a longer time, this capacitor and resistor will not change with time. So C and R are treated as constant. So if I write this side or that side, it doesn't matter because it's a constant. So anyway, I am writing capacitance and resistance to the right hand side. No matter which side you write this capacitor or resistor, because they are constant with respect to charge and the time. Alright, next thing is to integrate. Now integrating this equation dq divided by q max minus q is equal to integration of dt by CR. Now we know that the integration of 1 by q is log q. 1 by q is log q. In fact, the identity you remember, it's 1 by x. Integration of 1 by x is log x. Similarly, integration of 1 by q is log q. But we have one more complication here. One more complication. It's not a simply q. It is qm minus q. So we have just like 1 divided by 1 minus x. What is the integration of 1 by 1 minus x? It is log 1 minus x. We have multiplied with a minus sign. So here also I have to do the same thing. It is log of qm minus q, and minus q I have to differentiate. Minus q I have to differentiate in the denominator. So if I differentiate minus q in the denominator, it will be minus 1. So that is why it is minus log qm minus q. Students, did you understand this step? It is a not simple thing. It is not 1 by x. It is something like 1 by a by x. If integration of 1 by a by x will be minus log a minus x. Okay. So 1 by a minus x integration would be minus log of a minus x. So similarly, the integration of 1 by qm minus q will be minus log qm minus q. Okay. That's equal to, now the right hand side integration is very simple. We have a dt here, 1 into dt, integration of 1 is t itself. So it is t by CR. So without fail you need to write a constant of integration. It is only just because we are not integrating with a definite limit. So if you write any with a definite limit, if you write an integration with limits, you don't need to write any constants, because we are applying the limits, exact limits, and we are integrating it. In this case we are not applying any exact limit. Therefore you need to write one constant here. You need to write the constant compulsorily. When you are doing this kind of integration, undoubtedly you have to write a constant of integration. After writing the constant of integration, you have to evaluate the value of constant of integration by applying some boundary conditions or some initial conditions. These are the procedure which we are following after the integration. Okay, so first write the constant of integration and evaluate this constant of integration by applying initial and boundary condition, and then apply this. Then you substitute that constant of integration in this main equation. This is what the procedure which we have been following after the integration. Okay, so I'll follow the same thing. So I have written the constant of integration as k, and let me call it as equation 1. I am calling it as equation 1. Now I have an initial condition. So initial condition is at time t is equal to 0. What could be the charge on the capacitor? At time t is equal to 0. I mean to say, when I was about to press the plug key K1, not pressed, I have not pressed the plug key K1. 0 time, I am about to press the plug key K1. At 1 second, I am pressed the plug key K1. If it is a 0 time, I mean to say I am not pressed the plug key K1, what could be the charge on the capacitor? Can you expect any charge on the capacitor without pressing the plug key, without connecting the battery? No. So you cannot expect any charge on the capacitor without connecting the battery or without pressing the plug key K1. So that is why the charge on the capacitor would be 0. So at initial point, at t is equal to 0 point, the charge on the capacitor Q will be 0. Now I will substitute that in an equation 1. Now at time t is equal to 0, t by CR would be 0. At q is equal to 0, left hand side log of qm minus 0. If I remove and if I write an equation, so left hand side I'll remain with minus log qm, right hand side would be k. So k is equal to minus log qm. I got the equation for the constant of integration k, which is equal to minus log qm. So after getting the value of constant of integration k by applying the initial condition, I need to substitute the value of constant of integration in the main equation 1. Now let us substitute in equation 1. So minus log Qm minus Q is equal to T by Cr minus, instead of K, I am writing minus log Qm. Right. So I have substituted the constant of integration. Let me rearrange this. Let me rearrange it quite. So I'll take this minus T by Cr in the left hand side. I'll send this log of Qm minus Q to the right hand side. That becomes plus log of Qm minus Q, and this minus log Q will remain as it is. Okay. Left hand side will remain side. What I'll do is I'll use an identity. So what identity is it exactly? It is log of A minus B. So sorry, it's log A minus log B. Log A minus log B would be log of A by B. That's a very simple logarithmic identity. So here A is Qm minus Q and B is Qm. So first term is log of A, log of Qm minus Q. Second term is log of Qm. Log of Qm minus Q minus log of Qm. It's just like log of A minus log of B. So now this becomes log of A by B. So first term, write it in the numerator. Second term, write it in the denominator. It's log of Qm minus Q divided by Qm. Right. So now I'll take e to the power on both sides. If I do that, if I take e to the power on both sides, so this side it will be e to the power of minus t by Cr. Left hand side would be e to the power of minus t by Cr, and right hand side e power and log will cancel with each other. So I simply left with a Qm minus Q divided by Qm. Now what I'll do is I'll rearrange this. I'll take this to the left hand side. Qm by Q is 1. So 1 minus Q by Qm is equal to e to the power of minus t by Cr. Now I'll again rearrange this. Take this e to the power of minus t by Cr to the left hand side, and you send this Q by Qm to the right hand side, and rearrange this to get an equation of Q by Qm as 1 minus e to the power of minus t by Cr. From this equation, I'll get Q is equal to Qm into 1 minus t by Cr. So I got the equation for the charge on the capacitor at any instant of time t. If you substitute t as 10 seconds and you know the value of capacitor and resistor and you know the value of Qm, you can get what could be the value of the charge on the capacitor at that 10 second. Okay, so right. So finally we got an equation for charge on the capacitor at any instant of time t. So this is an exponential growth. This equation clearly shows the charge on the capacitor increases exponentially with time. Alright. So these are some of the books which I referred. Good book, Holiday Resnick, and in fact a very good book, Bijlal and Subramaniam, 2 university books. You go through these books, it's a very new chapter for you because you have not studied this transient current in the second PUC. It's absolutely a new chapter, and but damn easy chapter for scoring in the exam. Thank you very much.